Hi, everyone, and welcome to Bobble Pod. We are on episode 24 of season 3. And in this episode, I'm going to be talking about Christmas marketing campaigns. But before I begin, don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. If you are on YouTube, hello YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button to be updated when our next weekly episodes come out. So, Christmas marketing campaigns. It is the most, I want to say, dreaded period of seasonality, if I can get my word right. Mainly because this is when things go crazy for marketing agencies in particular, where your brand agency, creative agency, performance agency, or a digital marketing agency like ourselves. Things do get very, very hectic. And I'm not going to play a game because I got the idea from my last podcast that I recorded is, if you're a subscriber and listener, we're going to play the Wham game, the Wham Christmas game. So anyone knows Wham's song, Last Christmas, to see if you are listening and paying attention. And if you are playing, we may or may not play that song during this podcast. Probably not. I don't think we can probably get away from a copyright perspective. Callum's shaking his head, but maybe we can. Maybe we will. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, so we're going to play the Wham song, and I want you to play it with me this year. So the minute you hear Last Christmas by Wham, then do comment on one of our podcasts or come back to this podcast on YouTube and comment saying I'm out. And then we'll know what you mean, pretty much. Don't be like, I'm out. We know that means you're out partying during Christmas. Just say I'm out. And then that way we know you've taken part in a competition. Something a little bit fun for our listeners to take part in. So I'm going to start with my favorite Christmas campaigns of all time. And the number one I'm going to talk about is the Sainsbury's World War Christmas campaign. I don't know if anyone remembers this one. I really liked that one because it was a short, it was almost like a cinematic video, a bit like how John Lewis do their, 2-3 minute video. I think it was about 5 minutes where they showcased, opposing troops to German troops coming together on Christmas Day, playing football between the trenches and celebrating Christmas together. And then in the end, they ended up swapping jackets, I think. The two people are focused on. One had a chocolate in and the other one had, I think, some biscuits or something in. And I think it was a really good message. I think it was one of the more... I didn't expect that from someone like Sainsbury's as a brand. Let's put it that way. I think if another brand had done that, then I think it would have made sense. I can't think from the top of my head which one, but I think Sainsbury's doing that was a bit out of the blue, and it was really well received, and it was really well communicated, and it brought an element of, no matter how difficult times are, we can always come together on opposing views. I think if you look at the moral of that video, and I think it's needed today, is a lot of people on different sides of the fence, and there are like common grounds you can find, and just focus on that if you're having an opposing view. So I'd say that is one of my top 3. I've always loved the Aldi making fun of John Lewis. John Lewis did not hit my top 3. I mean, it's good what they did as a marketing strategy and campaign where they, introduced... I mean, that Christmas campaign changed the fortunes of John Lewis. If you look at and research the case study of John Lewis and the introduction of Christmas campaigns and the risk they took in spending around about, I think it was 4 or 5 million, and how well it was received and how their business turned around from that seasonality where we all kind of look forward to the John Lewis advert year and year when it comes out. It became a thing. And the only other company that's done that was Coca-Cola, where Coca-Cola, Santa, I think generally as a colour used to be green, but Coca-Cola put it in their brand colours. And now we only think of Santa as red and white. And that only came from, Coca-Cola's advertising. But just back to Aldi doing the funny stuff to John Lewis at a budget, and specifically the one on the moon with a telescope and saying, I like that one, but I also like that one, I think was just one of the best reactive Christmas campaigns I've seen, because it takes some skill and turnaround to turn a reactive campaign and production like that very, very quickly, considering John Lewis and when they launched their Christmas campaigns out. And I've already mentioned it in terms of my last one. It has to be Coca-Cola, Holidays Are Coming. those red trucks, no matter where you go, when you end up going, like, I'm Leeds based, so if you go to White Rose, you end up seeing the truck there. If you go to Manchester, Old Trafford, you might see the truck there. There's a website for you to see where the truck is going. I think it was into city centres and everyone gets free Cokes. I think one time they allowed you to put your name on the Coke, and I remember there's a Coke bottle in my house that says, enjoy a Coke with Bobble. I'll try and get a video and share it, or a picture, and we'll share it with the YouTube element. So there is a Coke bottle out there that says enjoy a Coke with Bobble, and that's an infamous one of a kind. I think that'll eventually go to auction in 100 years time. Hopefully, fingers crossed. But that Coca-Cola one, I do not start my Christmas planning or getting that season, Christmas season festives until I see that one. So just to begin with, just wanted to share what's coming up, my favorite Christmas campaigns, and share yours. There's others out there. There's been some really good Christmas campaigns out there by good brands, local brands as well, that have gone viral. So if you think of a good Christmas campaign, one thing I want you to do is I want you to comment on our YouTube. If you're seeing this on LinkedIn, I want you to comment and engage on the post. Tell me what Christmas campaign you resonate most with, or you look forward to, or you thought was your number one Christmas campaign that you've seen so far. And also, if you want to caveat that, what kind of Christmas campaigns do you want to see brands do or get involved in? I think that could be an interesting topic. Maybe we do that as a question on LinkedIn. But it all comes down to seasonal planning. Christmas, it's today's day is the 8th of November. But this podcast, we are launching on the 6th of December. So it's a few weeks away. We do tend to do bulks. I'm going to be transparent. Next year, we're going to increase our frequency of recordings just so we can be more up to date and plan ahead. But we plan ahead even with our content for Bobble Pod, and you should be doing the exact same thing with what you're sharing and what you're planning in terms of your seasonal activity. Now, obviously, I'm focusing more on a B2C audience here. In terms of if you're a B2C business, that's what you should really be focusing your attention. As like your Christmas planning has to start absolutely late in September and be finalized by October, because in between there you've got Halloween, bonfire, you've got Cyber Monday, Black Friday, and then you got the run up to Christmas. And then after Christmas, you got Boxing Day. And after Boxing Day, you've got the run up to New Year's, and then you got your New Year's sale. And then things calm down towards the end of January, when people run out of money and wait for the January paychecks, which always tends to be the case. Both Josh and Callum are laughing at that one. Do you ever find that, Callum? You've always you get to the end of January and you feel broke?
Yes, but that's more, I think, the alcoholic beverages that I have at Christmas, not so much the financing, but I completely get what you mean by sometimes that I know friends who are a little bit like, I haven't got any money till the end of January, so they're slightly sort of trying to figure out the best ways of countering that, but it's more alcoholic damage to myself than money.
But even in your personal lives, you need to plan ahead with Christmas, in terms of what you're buying, what you're not buying. But seasonal planning is everything, and that's where you need to really focus your attention on, because if you really want to maximize the e-commerce side, don't forget, we announced the recession is coming. Well, we're in a recession. It's going to last till 2024. You really need to maximize your planning. The more you plan ahead, the more impact you can make, the more you can actually learn. Think about if you leave your Christmas campaigns to the last minute and you don't get the traction you want, something fundamentally has gone wrong. And I always say you got to focus on the 3 pillars of platforms like social media, which is going to be your main one. The 3 pillars of social media, which is your objective, your audience, and more importantly, your message. And any one of those 3 that are missing, it's not going to work. But what you do find is, even if the message isn't on point or doesn't really deliver the results you want, that's where you have at least enough time to be reactive, see what engagements you're getting, what click-through rates, look at the data, the metrics, the audience analysis, and pivot and create new ads and new ad copy. So that's why seasonal planning around this time is really, really important, because the sooner you start, the sooner you can start getting insights and data, and the sooner you can start making optimizations to make sure you have a successful Christmas campaign. So what to do if you have left it late? And if it is, and obviously this, I said, comes out on the 6th of December. If it's 6th of December and you're listening to this or read into it, first of all, I'll be in Dubai, so I won't be able to get back to you. not to brag. But more importantly is if you've left it too late, what are my top tips? And I've just put some together. So even if you have left it last minute, how can you make a quick impact? Bear in mind, you're going to be competing with a lot of people out there. So the first one is focus on video content. Do not just push out basic images with prices, call to actions, or discounts. Create a video ad. Even if it's a graphic video ad, reach out to freelancers, name drop Josh Wilson if you're in Leeds. You're welcome, Josh. Create some video content ads, but you've got tools and platforms in which you can do this yourself. Videos is what's going to help drive attention to your ideal audience. Remember, they're going to be open to so many different marketing messages at this time in this period. How are you going to stand out from the crowd? So, and video is the best way to do that. And a lot of platforms, whether it's, YouTube, social media, it's very, very video orientated these days in terms of your mobile phone. The second is a call to action. Remember, you're competing for advertising space. How are you going to stand out? And it comes down to, like I said, the message and call to action. And for some, if you're volume led, it's going to be sale price, 50% off, use this code, fair enough. But my advice is customer reviews. Tell them how other customers have had a great experience with your brand and your business to help encourage them to make the right decision. If it's seasonal, talk about how, people might have given reviews in terms of, I bought this last year for Christmas, or I bought from this brand last Christmas. It came on time. The product was well wrapped. It saved me a lot of time, and, we had a great Christmas, etc. Now, that's just top line thinking, but that's what you should really start focusing your content on, that kind of call to action. And lastly, know your audience. If you're leaving it last minute, don't try to go out and reach a new audience. If you haven't done the research of who they are, your best bet is not to go mass market. Focus on who your ideal audience are. I've said this time and time again. Use your tools, use your platform. Look at your customer data internally. Look at Google Analytics. Well, you should be on GA4 now anyway. But look at your GA data. Look at, the types and start profiling customers and using that data and target to them. And focus on customer retention. Focus on existing customers. Because if you want to maximize sales, focus on the customers that buy from you time and time again. Give them a reason to continue buying from you, not go to your competitor or another brand altogether. That's my top tips in terms of what you can focus on quickly if you've left it last minute in terms of Christmas campaigns. It's kind of a short video, this one. I hope that really helps. But if you are literally listening and watching this right now, it's too late. Planning is everything. You need to start elements. So if you're planning for and this launches in December. So if you're planning for Valentine's Day and you're planning for Mother's Day, that planning should be done now, prior to Christmas. Or you should at least have concrete plans in place, or ideas, or bundles that you're going to put out, and how you're going to target key audiences at that time of the year, and how you're going to reach out against that seasonality. And your Easter campaign should be finalized and planned by the end of January. So once you're out of the Christmas period, you should really be focused on Easter, spring, summer sales, etc. That's where you need to start planning ahead. And that's where it comes to content strategy, or have a seasonal calendar. So you'll plan ahead and know and understand the timeframes you have to turn around content. If you work with agencies, they might have a 2-week turnaround. Remember, agencies are going to be really, really busy in December getting live all the stuff that's been pre-planned. So if you then go to your agency and you're not happy because they're not being reactive as much, it's because you've left it too late. You've got to hold your own hands up. We had this a couple of times last year where it was last minute. It was very stressful, but we still accommodate. That's what we do. But we try to advise clients and do it. And we have a cut-off date for creative for us, because most people like to take extended holiday over Christmas. We have to plan and schedule things. So we actually have a cut-off date in which you need to let us know what your Christmas campaign plans are, or your creative plans are. Because after that, it literally is too late and you've already missed the boat. So it's almost like a kind of a waste of budget, really. You should really be focusing on 2023 plans in terms of what you should be doing. So Christmas, it's a crazy period. We've talked about some good elements there. We've got a competition going about Wham. We talked about our best Christmas campaigns. I want to hear yours. I've given you some top tips if you've left at last minute, but plan ahead, listen to the top tips I've said, and tell us how it goes. Let us know how your Christmas goes, because there's a lot happening in terms of the economic environment. I want to make sure, not want to make sure, I want to hear feedback from you as businesses. What has been the appetite from consumers? And we'll have that data internally with our e-commerce clients, but what is the ideal appetite? Because it will be a lot different to what it was in 2021. So again, thank you for listening. And don't forget to like, follow, subscribe. We value your input. And if you've got any questions or advice or want to follow up on anything we said, don't forget to use the hashtags Mr. Bobble, hashtag AskBobble, and hashtag BobblePod, or send us a message on www.bobblepod.co.uk. Thank you very much.